Hey there, Super Friends. This is Joey with Last Point Gaming. It's still Thursday. I think it's the 21st of December, 2017. If you want to connect with us on social media, you can friend up our Last Point Gaming Facebook account. You can follow us on Twitter at Last Point Gaming. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Stranger Sparrow. Or you can always reach out directly with an email to lastpointgaming@gmail.com. And now featuring YouTube. Why don't I just turn this way? That's fine. You can now subscribe to us on YouTube, and I've been pushing the cast there. So, wow, this week's been like really bullshit topics. Sorry about that. Can you tell SCG's not really running events right now, and Limited? Ugh. I don't want to watch Limited. Here's my opinion on Ixalan Limited. Draft is better than Sealed. That's about it. Sealed is just fucking awful here in Ixalan. And draft isn't too bad. And, hey, I know where I am. That's exciting. Yeah, I just finished up at the bakery, ran to get my dad some molasses cookies, so that will make up for the fact that I didn't bake. I've never really learned how to make molasses cookies, and they're like one of his favorites. I've tried a couple years, and they just did not turn out. I don't know. They sound like they should be kind of easy to make, and they are just not. So it will kind of make up for the fact that I did not home bake this year by getting him cookies that I've never successfully made him before anyway. Or at least that's my hope. And the bakery's over near my office, so this should be maybe just a little bit longer than a regular cast. So, luckily, after driving about a block, I'm like, oh, great, I recognize this. Which is why I was just so excited about that. But yeah, there's just haven't been that many events I've really wanted to watch. And maybe that's one of the reasons that I'm like, yeah, I really don't want to do this professionally, because I don't want to be in a position where I'm like, I have absolutely zero interest in watching any of this coverage, but I have to because I have to talk about it. I much prefer to just kind of make shit up as I go along and talk about whatever it is I feel like talking about on any given day. Would be nice to get a little more organized, but honestly, all of my highest played casts, most of them. I think there's one, completely excluding the one where I got signal boosted by a larger content creator, and therefore had like 250 listens on that cast. A fair portion are like the ones where I talk about when do you call a judge and that kind of thing. But yeah, two of my highest listening count casts, one was the one I did on Slime Rancher and geocaching, and the other one was the one I did on the Fallout board game, which sounds like husband and I are going to spend some time playing that game together while we're home together. Maybe even get the kids in on it. I don't know. I don't think Fallout has any like inappropriate subject material. Oh, why you turn red, light? The mechanics may be a little bit complicated, but we're gonna try to get that down. I really, again, if you didn't listen to my cast on the Fallout board game, I think the game has a ton of potential. I think the rulebook is just assembled in a really baffling way. Can I just turn here? I feel like I can. I don't want to wait for this stupid light. Now, I'm just going to go the way I know. No. We're gonna go this way. We're going to have an adventure together, friends. I think I know where this goes. We're going to find out. But yeah, those are things I get like the most listens on. My magic content actually doesn't get that much, and I mean, I can kind of understand. I don't have anything terribly insightful to say, but hey, this is something I'll talk about. I saw Taryn tweeted out, not to steal his topic or whatever. I talk a lot about Taryn and MTGO traders. Like, if you listen for any length of time, you'll very quickly get to know who, like, my favorite content creators are and everything, because I talk about them a fair amount. Is this the way I want to go? Yeah, fuck it. This is the way I'm going. See how it works out. Basically, I'm choosing which way I'm turning based on which lane has less cars in it. That's how we navigate, right? But he tweeted out about how he thinks he's going to do a video on, you know, the difference between pro players and, you know, just regular streamers. Because, like, Taryn's starting to break into Modern. He doesn't have a lot of experience with Modern, so there are some decks that once you're aware of them and aware of how they operate, you know when you're playing into a trap. But when you're brand new to the format, haven't really watched much content on it or anything like that, you fall into these snares pretty easy, you miss things. Modern is a very complex format at, like, the higher levels because the card interactions can be so complex. You know, it's a whole different power level. Instead of working with 2 years worth of cards, you're working with, you know, what, 15? And, I don't know, the live chat generally seems, now, lately I've been popping in and out of it because I've had a lot of stuff I have to do at work. And, like, including meetings and everything, because, again, I don't, like, sit at my desk and actively watch him stream, because, you know, they're paying me to do my job. So, I mostly listen, and I'll participate in the chat a little bit here and there. And there does seem to be a bit of a delay between when people post chat messages and when he gets them. So, like, I'll respond in chat to things he's saying or to, like, other chat messages he's reading. And so sometimes that leads me to be a little lagged on response, but what the fuck was that noise? Not my car? Fine. Just keep on going. Just keep on keeping on. Actually, I think I can get the camera. Do I want to go that way, or do I want to go, I don't know. I don't know which way is going to be shorter, and I think you all listen to me talk enough today, especially being that I don't really have anything important to talk about. But anyway, back to what I was saying. And you do see it sometimes where, like, streamers that are kind of amateur, people will, like, roast them in their streams. Be like, oh my god, what is wrong with you? And don't get me wrong, sometimes when I'm watching some of the content creators I watch, either their, like, post live stream archived videos, or, well, not really archived, but where it goes up after the live stream, or even things that never started as live stream. It's always planned to be a pre-recorded video. Yeah, sometimes they do things and I'm like, no, you fool! Don't do that. Don't go left, go right, go right. But, like, I generally don't post nasty comments about things, because, I don't know, I'm just not that kind of person, I guess. I guess I don't have what it takes to be an edgelord. It's a shame, really. It hurts me right in the feels. No, it doesn't. I don't know. I mean, I may not be the most PC person out there. Okay, May is more of, I'm definitely not the most PC person out there. But at the same time, I don't go out of my way to be an asshole. Like, life's too fucking short for that shit, you know? Again, the amount of people that, like, hate watch shit on the internet just so they can say awful things, like, seriously, yo, get yourself a new hobby. Something a little more enriching. May I recommend you take up crocheting or knitting? They're both fun. And if you're ever trying to quit smoking, both are actually decent activities for that because it keeps your hands busy. It doesn't satisfy the oral fixation, but you can't really smoke while knitting or crocheting. I've tried. It just does not work. But seriously, like, find some enrichment in your life because, or, you know, whatever is dragging you down and upsetting you that much that you feel this need to lash out at other people over the stupidest shit, why don't you see somebody about that? And I mean, I'm not, like, actually saying that to be a dick here. Like, well, if you're cray-cray, well, stay in your fucking lane. Jesus. We cannot occupy the same space at the same time. All right, look. I'm as pissed off as you are that quantum mechanics don't work on this level, but it's the reality. God. Yeah, I'm not actually saying that to be an asshole. Like, oh, well, if you're cray-cray, go seek some counseling. But seriously, like, if you were that miserable, like, that you just constantly feel this misery and, like, the only relief you can find is to bleed it off onto somebody else, maybe you should look at some counseling. You know, figure out what's going on, like, what's inside you breeding that misery, and see if you can feel better. Because honestly, that's where I find a lot of this stuff comes from. Like, people who are just constantly negative about everything is, like, it comes from this internalized crap that, like, you feel shitty about yourself, but you don't want to feel shitty about yourself, so you look for somebody else that you can, you know, basically use to make you feel better about yourself. Because it's like, well, I may be a shitty person, but I don't have all this, so I'm gonna go let them know just how much better than them I am to, like, self-affirm. Like, just work out those demons, yo, because they will fester and they will tear you apart. And there will come a time where spreading that misery to other people just isn't enough. Or if you legitimately just take joy from actually taking it from other people, I don't know what to tell you, but seriously, you should probably try to find a more fulfilling hobby, because whoa. But yeah, there is a vast difference, and this is part of the reason that, like, I haven't even looked into what I would need to do to get my rig up to snuff to be able to record or stream playing on Xmage or anything. Now, honestly, my rig probably can't handle it. Liaria is very, very old. It's not very, very, I think she's about 6 years old. And she was top end when I got her, so she's still functional, but she ain't doing so hot these days. I had gotten a new laptop for school back when I was in college, Lazarus, and Stranger Cat peed in the computer. I left it open on the kitchen table one day, and the dog hassled him, and yeah, when he gets upset about things, he pees on things, and he went right down into the keyboard. Yes, that's my fault for naming the rig Lazarus. Yeah, if you don't want things to die, don't name them Lazarus. Bad idea. But, like, if my rig could support it, I'm not even sure I would do it. And it's not because I'm a woman, it's because I just don't want to deal with the bullshit. You know? I want to deal with this, oh, God, you're such a fucking noob. Okay, yeah, I mean, 100%, I own my scrubbage. Yeah, this game isn't my life. I talk about it enough that you would think, but no, it's not. It's a thing I do mostly for fun, though sometimes I get overly competitive about it. Well, no, I don't even get overly competitive. I get overly stressed about the amount of money I'm pumping into going to a tournament. So, well, if I'm going to spend this much money, I better try to do well. Which, oddly enough, just leads me to spending more fucking money because, like, while I was prepping to go down to Richmond, I was doing MTGO drafts. Which means, though, I might have, like, a reasonable-ish MTGO deck. Yeah. But, yeah, I've thought about streaming, and I'm like, I'm just gonna assume Leah can't handle it. But, yeah, there is a vast array of streamer skill level. Like, Terran really plays for the joy of the fucking game. It's not about, like, oh, I'm gonna 5-0 this league. He doesn't even play the leagues. He plays in, like, the tournament practice area. What? Oh, okay. No? Are we moving or not? Oh, there's a truck stopped right there. That's no good. Oh, gosh. Oh, my. Okay, well, at least I can put my window down a little bit because I'm not going 60, so you'll be able to hear me. But, I mean, he does not play these super high-tier decks for the most part. Like, he started doing his Modern and Commander, and he tries to run more budget-friendly decks. And, like, I know when he first started doing Commander, people were like, oh, play this deck or play that deck. And he's like, look, Jolt handles, like, the actual high-end, hardcore Commander. So if you want to see, like, these high-end decks be played, go watch him. I'm trying to, like, do more budget-friendly stuff. And, you know, he loves fun, janky combos and shit. He does fan-submitted decks. Like, I don't know, he's playing for the fun of it. And there does seem to be this odd thing with Magic players who consume Magic-related content, that a lot of them really aren't looking for the fun. Like, I've seen different YouTubers that cover different games, mostly because the girls are into them. So, like, they love Dan from the Diamond Minecart, who just did all kinds of fun, silly stuff in Minecraft. He had his testificate in his lab, named Dr. Treoris. He had himself a skeletal dog. I don't remember what his name was. Oh, he had this fun little world he created, and he'd run around and do stuff in there, and then he'd go play. Oh, what is going on? Is this lane gonna go to the exit? I'm trying to get off the highway now. I hate the highway. I really do. Especially this time of year. Okay. I gotta be able to exit here. Like, you would think, since winter has set in, construction season would be over here in Pennsylvania, but it's not. Okay. I think this will go to the exit I'm trying to go to. But he would just do all kinds of silly stuff, and he would, like, fall off ledges, and, like, he would do the parkour maps and die, and it, you know, it was fun. And they watched this girl, I has Cupquake. Oh, Cupquake is just fucking adorable. But, you know, she plays these video games for fun. Like, that's how they got into the Five Nights at Freddy's series, which, those games are weird, okay? And somewhat disturbing. I may be warping my children's sense of fear. I don't know. It's a weird thing. But, you know, she would play the game and she would lose, and she would, like, scream, like, I got jump scared. But Magic players, man, they will rip into you for, like, I don't know why you didn't play the ley line of the Void against the Storm player when they were tapped out. By the way, Yeah, they did get to Past in Flames on him and had dumped more stuff in their graveyard, but the thing is, Leyline of the Void doesn't exile the graveyard when it enters. So they still would have had access to all the spells in the graveyard, including the Gifts Ungiven they had already played. Just saying. I mean, and in that case, Ross Miriam is in fact a professional player. But yeah, like, people just scrutinize shit. And the thing about Magic is there are definitely times where you can do everything right. You can play to your best line completely, in this crisp, tight play line and still have it not work out. Go watch Owen Turtenwald play some. The man is a fantastic player. He is very precise and professional, in his gameplay and everything. He still loses sometimes. And it's not because he made some major punt or anything else. It's just sometimes the cards just don't work out. Like, you play to the best line you have, and it just doesn't get there. And then other times you're playing Shota Yasuoka's Grixis control deck, and you are like a control moron, and you're fucking up all over the place, and you lose because of that. Or accidentally win at one life because, with all that, that did happen. I did win a game at one life, and I think I got some small idea of why control players like control. Because seriously, winning the game at one life is pretty fucking fun. Yeah, and if you haven't been with us that long, because there has been a major uptick lately, that is in fact why we chose the name Last Point Gaming. Because the only life point that matters is the last one. So you can follow us, because we're the only one that matters. Not really. Not, like, at all. I spew a bunch of random shit. But yet, why is that? That, like, there's no joy in watching fun matches. I even see this in the discussion boards. Like, people why they won't play on X-Mage. Oh, I'm tired of running into all these stupid brews. I don't mind running into them. You can learn some neat things, and honestly, going up against non-meta decks are going to be the best way to learn to play your deck to its highest ability. Because instead of just kind of repeating what you've read in articles that when this happens, this is what you do, you have to actually think about, like, what are your options? What do they got going on? How do you combat their strategy? How do you combat what's on the battlefield right fucking now? As opposed to, like, oh, I'm playing against Teamer. Alright, so they're going to turn 1 Attune. I'm going to turn 1 Bomat. They're going to turn 2 Long Tusk Cub. Actually, I'll turn 1 Soulscar Mage. They're going to turn 2 Long Tusk Cub. Then, on my turn 3, I'm going to drop out my Earthshaker Kenra, and I have a shock in hand, and I'm going to say that the Long Tusk Cub can't block, and they're going to pump it in response, and then in response to their pump, I'm going to kill it with the shock. Like, you know what to do, because you play this match over and over again, you see it played over and over again, you know how you're supposed to react to just about any given thing. But when you get this deck out of left field, that you're like, well, shit, what do I do in this situation? How do I combat this? You have to think things through a lot more. Like, yeah, okay, I'm a net decker. Filthy net decker. But, at the same time, like, I learned to play my deck well. I usually change the sideboard from whatever deck I'm copying off online. Just because, like, I change it to be better in my local meta, or I change it to be more comfortable for me to play. Like, I don't know why I still have Pia Nalar in the Rami Red sideboard. I don't get what she's supposed to do. Like, I don't understand how she's supposed to be really good. I don't get her. And people tell me she's this super powerful card, and I'm like, I mean, I guess I can swing it with the Slopter and pump it a bunch. Cool. I don't know. I don't get what she really adds to the deck. Now, clearly she adds something, because every Rami Red list has had 2 Pia Nalar in the sideboard since Rami Red showed up. I think at one point they were in the main deck. So, you know, to some out there, she must contribute some really good value. I just don't understand what she's supposed to do, like what her function is. So I almost never side her in. The only times I've sided her in is like, well, I have all these dead cards that I need to get out of the deck, and alright, yeah, you can go in, Pia, I guess. But yeah, I don't get her function, so I really should just take her out and put something in that's more intuitive to me, that I, like, what do I not have in matchups that, like, I want to have? Aside from enchantment removal, which Red has absolutely 0 of, you know, like, do I want Hour of Devastation? Like, yeah, it's kind of going nuclear, but, you know, sometimes your hand's got enough gas in it, and they're empty-handed, so if you Hour, you're probably going to come out ahead. You know, I run the Cannonades because I need mini board wipes. Nice thing about the Cannonades is at least some of my stuff survives it, but yeah, at one point I did have Sweltering Suns in the board. So, you know, yeah, I net deck, but at the same time, I try to make sure I know what's going on with the deck, and for things that I just don't get, I'm like, well, fuck it then, I don't need that card. I had put Rampaging Ferocidons in my sideboard before any other pro player did, or not other pro, but before any pro player did. Like, before any event where they were played in the main or the side. Because I'd played against tokens too many times and went, yeah, no, fuck that. I need to shut off the life gain. I was running Harsh Mentors before they were in the pro level decks, because pretty much everything in Temur is an activated ability, so fine, you go ahead and make those Thopters, but you pay for them. You know, it's just like little things that I was like, you know what I really need? I need a way to shut this down. So what do I not like in this deck? What seems kind of worthless in this deck? Like, I have no on-corrupt crashers left in my Rami Red deck. Because they die to Cannonade, and they serve no other purpose than, you know, being a 3-2 haster for the most part. Because most of the decks you're playing against, the exert ability is null. Not when they can make on-the-spot blockers after attacks are declared. So, they were like one of the first things to get cut to make room for these other cards that I really felt I needed. But, again, you know, the pro players, they're not listening to this. You know, they're so far above the level that I play on that, you know, I know people question all the time choices I make in my deck list. Where, like, when I was playing the Hardened Scales deck, after the 3 converted mana cost Nissa hit, Basswood Seer, maybe? Maybe not. But she was the one that her +1 was to put a +1/+1 counter on all your creatures. No, that was -2. +1 was to make a Sportling token. Everybody's like, oh yeah, she's so much better in this deck than the Undergrowth Champion. I'm like, fuck that shit. Undergrowth Champion's great. I'm not taking out my damn Undergrowth Champion. I'd like played her once and was like, this card's stupid, and it just dies. I'd rather have my Undergrowth Champion. Especially because he still had fetch lands at that point. You know, and people questioned me, and Feat of Resistance. Everybody told me to get that card right on out of that deck. That card was awful, that card was dumb. That card won me more matches than I can remember. Just being able to protect the Mana Gorger Hydra one more turn so it could swing in for lethal. So, yeah, not everything I do makes sense. Not everything I do is the quote-unquote best it can be, according to what the mainstream has to say, but it's what works for me. So yeah, professional players, they aren't listening to me. If you're listening to me, you're probably either interested in the bullshit social fucking drama shit I talk about, or, you're more on my level, where you're an aspiring F&M hero. I don't think I've reached F&M hero status yet. I'm working on it. And so, hearing these kind of sideline takes is what you're interested in. But I'm sure there are some people that could stumble across this and be like, God, she has no fucking clue what she's talking about. And that's cool. You can totally believe that, and that's fine. And if you even feel the need to say something to me about it, okay. But again, like I said in the last one, if your opening remarks are some sort of insult, I am likely just not even going to engage with you. Just gonna be like, point taken. You just want to shit on me and tell me how, awful you think I am. That's fine. You go right ahead and do that. There's no real benefit to interacting with you. But if you're like, hey, I noticed how you said about, this card. Have you thought about putting Vance's blasting cannons in your deck? Yes, I have, by the way, and just no. There's just no benefit if you can't use the card that's exiled. And that is why I just kind of feel like that card is really not worth it. I think that's what it does on the front side. I don't even remember, honestly. I've looked at it and just decided it was too expensive and its effect was not good enough. Or it's like... And I think that one's also a cast from exile, so you can't play lands from exile. So if you're, desperately needing that fourth land, I guess, because I think Blasting Cannons is 3, you're screwed. You just exiled it. Now, I mean, honestly, once you get Chandra down, if you're exiling lands, it can suck because you do need a 5th land for the Glorybringer, and a lot of people started main decking Chandra. I don't. She's in my board. So if Chandra's in my deck, Glorybringer is probably in my deck as well. So, I mean, sometimes that stings a little bit, but honestly, at least you get the 2 damage out of it. Just exile a card, and then, if you can't play it by the end of the turn, it just stays in exile. No. That seems dumb. But that's my take on it. Clearly, there were higher level players that really felt it added acceleration, and, a lot of times in Red, anything that gives you access to more cards to play is good, because Red doesn't really draw cards, and, it's designed, Red in general is fast and dirty, so you're in top deck mode pretty early in the game, so anything that can give you a little more card advantage is usually pretty highly prioritized, but I don't think the Blasting Cannon is good. Even with Chandra, even when I exile a spell I can play, the vast majority of the time, unless it's like a Glorybringer and I'm like, oh, well, this will win me the game if I cast it right now, or, something along those lines, for the most part, I just it's an Earthshaker Kenra. Well, Kenra's a little different. I may play that one just to be able to get it in the graveyard to get it the bigger, stronger creature later. But if it's like a Bomat Courier or, a Kari Zev or, any of those, usually I'm just like, yeah, fuck it. Nope. I'm just going to let it in exile and take the hitting you for 2. So, I don't know. I don't know why, for so many people, this game stopped being about the joy of the game. But, that's my thoughts on that. This cast got a little long, and I do have one more errand to run. So, I'm gonna, I guess, cut off there. Also, I want to, scream to some Coheed, so... yeah, I think I'm gonna cut off about right here. I can give you a couple more minutes, I guess, until I make it to my driveway, because I gotta, look this place up and get my Google Maps going on, because I don't know where it is. But yeah, that's really all I got to say on that. I wish I had more to say. time is it? It's only 1:30. I think I can stop at home for a few minutes before I run back out. It's great to have this extra day off, but at the same time, like, I just have so much crap I gotta get done today that it's not even really like a day off. It's just a different kind of work. So yeah, like, I mean, ultimately, I don't get people who watch content strictly to make awful comments about things. Like, why? I don't know. I'm really interested to hear, like, Taryn's opinion piece on the whole topic. And, see what he's got to say about it. He's generally got a nicer demeanor on things than I do. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you people? And he's like, so guys, let's talk about this. It's, if you've ever seen the meme, the Marine to civilian translator. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Do you even know what you're talking about? We decided to go in a different direction, Greg. But, yeah, I'm in the driveway now. I think I'm going to stop home for a few minutes and then go run this last errand and hopefully be done for the day. As always, if you made it this far with me, thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you all next week. It may only be forecast next week, but not much to talk about, so that may be a positive thing. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you all later.